Welcome, gamers. This week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We're on episode 222. Today is October 29th. My name is Craig Perales. Joining me, the man, the myth, the Mandrew. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
Real good?
Yeah, it's just another beautiful, blustery day because it's finally, it's been cooling down, but it's been cooling more and more and more that we're not hitting the hundos anymore.
Dude, the last today and yesterday was like, the wind came out of nowhere. I was almost going to ask him, like, is it started, are we ready to do sweaters yet?
No.
Yeah, but it's...
in the morning.
In the morning, because I start walking Asher now at like 7. I take him around the block. I get my sweats on and my hoodie, but then later on, like when it starts getting hot again, I'm like, oh, dude, shorts and t-shirt.
Oh, I know. The other day I wore a sweater too, and like midway through the day, I'm like, hell no.
So, guys, I just wanted to point out, we're a little behind on some episodes. I think it's slight miscommunication. I ended up going to Mexico last week, and it was for my birthday, and it was awesome. Me and Sam went down there with my dad and my stepmom. We went to Rocky Point, which I've been doing for the last several years now. It's always a blast. We ended up getting some condos, and usually we get like a 2-bedroom one with separate rooms. This time we actually had our own room, and dude, nice, just sitting by the pool, going to the fucking beach. Hey, having a good time.
What are you bragging for if it's not a villa to yourself?
A villa? You getting villas now? They're probably named the Montemare.
I'll kind of get to it a little bit, and like what are we watching later on? All right, I guess jump in. On YouTube, I don't know why I've been getting them lately, but it's stuff about like where people live, and it's like, this is what like a $4 billion penthouse in New York looks like, and so like Mexico, and I'm just like, I wouldn't spend that kind of money to live there, but I guess it's kind of nice, and so I throw around words villa or like that honey onyx color, all this crazy stuff they're using.
I like that. So that's what was happening this last week for me. So, but now we're back. Andrew and I are back on track, back on schedule. So, guys, if you're interested in following the YouTube channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. If you guys are interested in following us on our social media outlets, you can follow our Linktree link, which is in the description of the video. That'll take you to Facebook, Instagram, on our Twitter account. And if you guys are listening to just the audio version of the podcast, like I know quite a few of you do, you can find us on your podcast platform of choice. So, let's dive into it. We're going to do off the top, which is kind of some small stories, some smaller news to get you ready and primed before we dive into our big stories and just kind of keep you up on what's happening. And I want to dive into what's been going on. Pokemon Legends ZA is out now. It came out on October 16th, 2025 to some mixed reviews. I'm seeing it as low as 31% as far as reviewers are giving it, and as far as 8 out of 10, such as places like IGN, are giving it. And on paper, it seems to be doing well. And if you're not familiar with it, Pokemon Legends ZA is part of the 9th generation of Pokemon video games. It's the sequel to the 6th generation titles Pokemon X and Y from 2013, and the second entry in the Pokemon Legends subseries following Pokemon Legends Arceus from 2022. And it takes place entirely in the Kalos region's Lumiose City. Now, I hate when it bounces back on me. So yeah, it is doing kind of well. What's his name? Piscatella, who is the senior director at market research for Circana, says the game's total physical sales in the U.S. in its first week of release are the highest in terms of both number of physical units sold and dollar sales since The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was released in May of 2023. Now, it should be noted that Circana's data on Nintendo games only covers physical sales, since Nintendo doesn't provide digital sales data to the company. It is therefore possible that a different game enjoyed a larger U.S. launch when both physical and digital copies are counted in terms of physical box copies alone. However, this is the best launch recorded since May of 2023. Now, there is some controversy that goes along with that, but as far as that goes, was it any surprise to you that Pokemon was going to launch and be the biggest thing since Legend of Zelda, aka sliced bread?
No, Pokemon's like their GTA. Like, that's just licensed to print money. Like no matter what. And that's why they do so much crazy stuff with it. You have that, then you have like the Pokken Fighter, you have the weird puzzlers. Like, you just do anything with Pokemon, and usually people love it, or it's at least gonna sell, and then people are gonna hate it, but it's gonna sell.
Yeah. So as far as the people that are hating it, there is some controversy going along with it, and from what I've been seeing, it kind of because I've been on the fence on it. I've been hearing again with those mixed reviews. I do have 3 friends that are playing it. My buddy Luis is playing it. He's like 70-something hours into it. He's loving it. He's actually in Mexico right now. Shout out to Luis. Cien's playing it and Casey are playing it. And they're all saying they're having a really good time on it. But I couldn't help but notice the things that I'm about to read that are negative. And for me, I'm kind of like, I don't know if it's a game I was looking forward to get on day one. So as far as what it's lacking, Pokemon Legends ZA doesn't have a traditional open world. Like I said earlier, it's only in Lumio City. So it's kind of like these biomes that you're going to. There's no big open world that you're exploring. You're not going from town to town or going through forests like you normally would in a traditional game. The biggest one that caught my eye was voice acting in the story cutscenes. It does not have, which is weird because in other Pokemon games, recent Pokemon games, it's in it. So as being the newest game, it is kind of weird that it's not in there. And then kind of smaller things is there's no new type combination or the ability to use Pokemon from the game in the older titles. And other people are noticing that there's the absence of certain abilities like weather setting moves. Now, I was looking it up because a lot of people were saying, like, why doesn't it have this? This game, I mean, and like Andrew said earlier, Pokemon prints money. This game only is sitting on a $13 million budget, which is insanely small, especially when you look at it compared to games like Legends Arceus, Sword and Shield, and Scarlet and Violet that were on the high end of $21 million. So it is kind of mind-boggling that Pokemon's taking... It's kind of like they're giving you the cheap version. They know everyone's going to buy it.
Right.
And it's lacking things that, in my mind, I don't know how you would not put this in, especially when I'm reading that the game's budget was $13 million and they spent over $100 million in advertising. And in my mind, I would be like, why don't you flip that? Make a game for $100 million, let it sit for 3 years, spend nothing on advertising, because it's going to sell like gangbusters anyway. But I don't know. For me... Even though my buddies are liking it and enjoying it, I think this is going to be the first Pokemon I'm putting on the back burner for a while. Even though it's going to stay the same price now or in 5 years. Are you interested in all, or do any of these catch your eye?
No, I'm kind of passing it too. And not just because some of those reasons, but like the more like I kind of was seeing of it, like it looks like it just doesn't run good. And there's lots of times where it doesn't. And I gave the last one a pass on that. Maybe even the last 2. And I'm like, okay, like I'm not going to do it again, especially for something that doesn't seem as interesting. And it's funny to see some of the memes come out of this because, like, that's not the only issue. But then, like, some of the areas just look like shit. There's, like, no textures. For a closed area. And it's just, like, all these little things that, like, seem like they're nitpicks just add up. But it's just funny to see because people are like, Nintendo on deciding how to choose their budget. And the wall is flat, but then like you'll see like a chick and she has like a fat ass or like big boobs, and it's like, well, we know where the budget went. Oh, and so it's just lots of little things. I'm like, okay, like I already have so much other stuff to play right now, especially at the time that this is coming out, that I'll just put it on the back burner and maybe I'll get back to it, or maybe I'm just one of those people where I'll play a Pokemon game every few years unless it's like 2 bangers back to back, because otherwise, like, you know, it just doesn't feel like this really push the needle in the right direction for me.
Yeah, and I mean, I've told Cien and Casey, because we're in a Discord, and I was like, I'll wait for one of you guys to kind of beat it, and then you tell me if it's worth it. But it's weird, because, I mean, you know, the water cooler gossip is the 3 people I know that are hands-on are all saying they enjoy it. So maybe it is something I'd actually need to play. But as far as what I can see, like Andrew's saying, there's so much more to play right now that I think I can let this sit till mid-2026 when I get around to it. So
I'm not dying to play with my one-arm Switch right now.
So that's Pokemon, guys. If you're playing it, let us know. The second thing I wanted to point out is that Splinter Cell Death Watch also just dropped on October 14th of 2025. It's on Netflix. It has 8 episodes. It's having hit or miss reviews. It's got as low as like 3.3 stars, as high as 8 out of 10s. The concept of the show is, in the shadowy world of espionage, Sam Fisher is a rumor and a legend pulled back into action. He must help a new recruit unravel a global conspiracy. Now, one of the biggest kind of problems I've read is that that is kind of what people aren't liking. So if you aren't familiar with Splinter Cell, the games all revolve around Sam Fisher for the most part. I mean, I played a lot of them as a kid, like Chaos Theory and things like that. The show takes place with an older Sam Fisher, which is kind of odd, because I don't know if it's canon with the games or if it's own story. And a lot of people are were kind of upset. One of the comments says, unfortunately, Netflix does what they always do and takes a great character and sidelines them in favor of a new and more diverse character, which is now it's a black woman. The character name is Zinnia McKenna. I don't really know her from anything except for she was Death in the Sandman, and Death was one of my favorite characters. So I actually enjoy her. Liev Schreiber is a great voice for Sam Fisher. Yeah. I wanted to be pointed out. I think Andrew said it as well off screen. Out of the 8 episodes, I'm only 2 in. You're in 2 as well?
Yeah, I only watched... you want to jump into how we feel about it now? Because I'll tell you why I only watched 2, but...
Oh, sure. Yeah. So let's get into it.
For me, I only watched 2, and they're not very long either. They're like a good time, like 25 minutes, and they're not boring or anything. I just feel like, personally for me, and it might be a little weird because I have different opinions, is I just feel like this kind of espionage isn't for me, which is weird because I do like stuff like that. But the best way I could think about it in my head to explain it is there's a difference between why I like Metal Gear espionage versus Splinter Cell. I just like going off the deep end and having fun, and you have like a fat dude on roller skates, or people like Quiet and or Ocelot and stuff. So I like that versus like, DedSec and Black Cell and whatever. I don't know. It just doesn't do too much.
So you're talking about the background, like the characters and the organization aren't really anything for you?
Yeah, it's never really, and it's been like that for me. Like, I love the Splinter Cell gameplay. It's just the story. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. And the only other way I could equate it to into like even a different medium that makes more sense is the way I love James Bond, who is a spy. Like, I love Bond movies. Like, I think they're some of my favorite things to watch versus I don't care for like the Bourne Ultimatum. Which I would say is almost like a fair comparison to those 2 games that I named. Is it's just I don't know. Maybe I just like being fun and off the deep end versus, and it's I don't know. I do like other serious stuff like that, but these just don't do it for me for some reason.
I will say this too because I do plan on. So I watched 2 episodes as well, and I will say, as far as the storyline was going, it didn't capture me right away. But I will say the action is there.
Yes.
Like from beat to beat. The first episode is fight death. A lot of action. The second episode is kind of more hide retaliation, like the sniper shots.
I love the hand-to-hand, too.
And so I will say this, the animation is quite well. As far as the story goes, I think since I'm 2 in, I might give it 2 more. If I get to the halfway point and this show's still not doing it for me, I think I'll stop. But I think I'm willing to give it 2 more to see if it goes in a better direction. But I'm kind of with Andrew. As fast as the action is, the story and the characters are kind of slow and a bit boring. And I don't know why you wouldn't make it about... I mean, again, from what I've seen, he hasn't been a background player yet. He's on the sidelines, and maybe he gets more like that later on. But, like, if you're going to make a Splinter Cell, make it with Sam Fisher that everyone knows, or call it something else. But I did just want to point out, this is the Netflix series, and I do want to not say give the pass so much to Netflix, but I do like that they are adapting a lot of IP. And for those of you who aren't keeping score at home, they have things such as Arcane, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Castlevania, which are all awesome shows. Those are top tier shows. Yeah. Dota, Dragon's Blood I've seen, which is good. The Witcher movies are great. Tomb Raider was a show I didn't really get on with. Devil May Cry was a new show. That was awesome. Dragon's Dogma. The Cuphead show, which actually, I didn't know I never finished season 3. I started watching it again. Me and Sam were in bed watching it, dude. We were both dying laughing. So, also Castlevania Nocturne, Tekken Bloodline. So, as far as their animation goes, I think they have quite a few wins on their belt. They also do The Witcher live action. The Resident Evil was kind of a miss, but Netflix, I think, so far has done pretty well with gaming IP. Would you agree with that at all? Or do you think
animated IP?
Or do you think Netflix needs to maybe back out because they do have a new project coming, what we'll talk about, and or do you think Netflix is doing okay with what they've been given so far, or what they have?
I think they're doing okay because I mean, for the ones that are considered misses, I don't think Tekken was bad, but it wasn't a hit. Tomb Raider, I think, is the only one that people are like, this is kind of just like on top of Splinter Cell. How they have others that are critically acclaimed. Castlevania is critically acclaimed. Yeah. Arcane critically acclaimed. Devil May Cry. A lot of people love that. And even when they did the second rebranching of Nocturne for Castlevania, people loved it. Even though there's lots of people who are like, oh, kind of upset. There's no denying that when you look at it, the art style is beautiful and it's really good and it captures the feeling of it. So they are killing it. That I'm okay with a company like this trying for some things, and if it maybe doesn't do so well, I could be mad at them for different reasons of why, but I can't be mad at them for trying.
Yeah, and they're doing a really interesting job in bringing a Western anime vibe to the thing. Like Castlevania is beautifully done, and Arcane is considered one of the best animated shows of all time. Hey, not of the time, of all time.
I put Cyberpunk in my top 5. Like, that show really did something.
Are they calling the next one? Is it season 2 or is it Cyberpunk? Is it like a new like Nocturne? Is it like a? I forget what they were doing with it.
They only showed off the teaser for it, but I don't remember. I forget
if it's called something else or if it's season 2.
I think it said Edge Runners, but I don't remember if it had like another name on top of it.
Gotcha. So I only bring this up if you guys thought Splinter Cell maybe was lackluster, is because Netflix is starting to develop another gaming IP. And I'll read this to you, which comes from Polygon. It says, What's on Netflix? Reported Monday, the streamer is quietly developing an animated series starring everyone's favorite mutated marsupial. Animation studio Wildbrain is said to be working on the series. It's previously partnered with Netflix for a series like Sonic Prime, Ninjago, Dragons Rising, and Carmen Sandiego. Wildbrain is developing a Minecraft animated series for Netflix. Details are scant, including, because this is going to be a Crash Bandicoot series, and they're debating whether it's going to be directly adapted to the games or if it's going to be an original story. So, I like it, but from what we can see from the past shows that they've been doing, it does seem a little out of pocket. Cuphead, I guess, might be the closest comparison with, like, cartoony fun, but, like, when you're looking at things like Arcane and Castlevania and Devil May Cry, I don't know if Crash Bandicoot fits the bill. I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm just, after coming off of Splinter Cell, I'm worried if Crash Bandicoot might be any good at all.
I feel like it could be fine. Like, when I heard that, I'm like, okay, this sounds cool and fun. Maybe, like, when I was a kid, I used to watch, like, even though it's not considered good now, you could do a good version of it now. Like the Sonic the Hedgehog show. Like, I don't know if you loved watching that.
Oh, yeah.
Who didn't love watching that?
There was the old one with the more chili dog, and then there was, like, Sonic X, which was, like, the badass one.
Yeah, and then, like, Mega Man also, like, had his own, or even the Bad Mario one. They were so fun to watch as a kid that I'm like, dude, Crash Bandicoot, I think, makes perfect sense, and you could have a lot of fun with it.
Would you want it to be more like Sonic X, Mega Man more mature, or keep it Cuphead kind of Looney Toony goofy?
I think maybe kind of like Cuphead, like Sonic-y style, because I feel like that's where he thrives. Like, you can have the serious stuff in it, like, obviously it's like animal mutations and experimentations and stuff, but just keep it fun. Like, why not? Like, he's so unhinged that's what the show should be, is fun.
Yeah, so I don't think there was a date yet of when it's coming, but when it does, we'll bring it up. I just wanted to note it out that they just dropped one, and then they're in talks to do another one. So that is off the top, guys. Let us know your thoughts down below. So let's get into our main topic, and that is that Halo is coming back in slightly a new way. They've announced Halo Campaign Evolved, and let me read this for you guys to catch you up. Halo Campaign Evolved is an upcoming first-person shooter game developed by Halo Studios and published by Xbox Game Studios. It is a remake of Halo Combat Evolved from 2001, the first installment of the Halo franchise originally developed by Bungie for the Xbox console. Per its namesake, Campaign Evolved is a full reproduction of the campaign component of the original Combat Evolved. The game is set to be released for, and here's the kicker, PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series X and S in 2026. Now, I'd imagine that's probably going to be in November, because wouldn't that be their 25th anniversary, right?
I feel like, and maybe it's because I've been reading online, this will be an earlier launch.
Oh, really?
Because I know that there was some leaked stuff about them dropping, like, a Halo, just a multiplayer. So maybe something to compete with, like, Warzone and stuff like that. Free multiplayer, and this would be the first foray into PlayStation. That why not launch this at the start of the year, and then have the multiplayer come in the summer or the back end of the year?
As far as I know, there is no multiplayer coming. This is just going to be...
There's no multiplayer for this, but it's its own standard multiplayer. Like, just like how Warzone is separate from Call of Duty, that the rumor is there's a Halo multiplayer that would just be standalone from the other stuff.
Gotcha.
And maybe that's just to get the ball rolling on getting this out there. That why not get this at the start of the year or close to summer and then have that on the back half?
I would like that. So there's a lot of people getting kind of shocked and awed about it, that Halo's coming to
for sure
PlayStation, and you should be. But if you are someone like us, or if you're watching the show and you know, we've known, the writing's been on the wall for over a year now, that Xbox is becoming more of a publisher now, and the first party exclusives are kind of done. We've been seeing it with games like Pentiment. We've saw it clearly with Gears. The question was kind of, Halo was hey, our boy was the last man standing, and it wasn't kind of if it was coming, it was when it was coming. And I think people just didn't think it was coming this fast. And day and date on PlayStation, generally it might be something like, a year later or something like that. So we now have our answered, and it is interesting that this is going to be a full remake, because as far as I know, it has been remastered once or twice, putting on like a new coat of paint. It was in the Master Chief Collection with up-res and stuff like that. But this is going to be a fully remade game. So let me read you this real quick just to show you kind of what they're including, and then we'll go into more of what all is going to be in it. Developed on Unreal Engine 5, Campaign Evolved boasts upgraded visuals and reimagined mission set comprising redesigned and new levels, incorporating mechanics, weapons, and narrative additions new to Combat Evolved in order to reflect subsequent Halo games. The new cinematics and audio were also remade, featuring re-recorded dialogue from the game's principal voice cast. The game does not include the original game's competitive multiplayer, but does support 4-player online cooperative multiplayer in addition to 2-player split screen on consoles. Campaign Evolved will also support cross-platform play and cross-progression across all consoles and PC during online co-op. So, it's clear that if you're going to remake any of the Halos, Halo 1 needs it the most. And when you're adding in all these new things, it's kind of now the definitive edition. Some people were like, why are you redoing Halo? It's been remastered a few times. But I look at this as a whole different kind of breed of animal. And we'll get into the crossover with PlayStation. But as far as them finally remaking it, do you think it's well overdue?
I think it would be, since it's coming to everywhere, and like that's what they've been saying as Halo will be everywhere now, why not start with something like that a lot of people consider? There's a lot of people who do love Halo 1. I'm not one of them. I like Halo 1, but I far prefer 2, 3, and Reach, because Halo 1, especially going back and playing it, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be changed to fix. Like, there's a lot of times where I get like lost in it, that it's the perfect game to, especially too, since this was their first foray and this was the first time we had something like this, just to change it. And you don't have to like modernize it, but just to make it better with so many like quality of life changes that don't change the feeling of the game.
So was it the campaign more that you didn't like, or did you still enjoy the multiplayer back then?
The multiplayer is always good. It was just the campaign.
The campaign, yeah, a little watered down. Yeah, because one of the things that was notorious at our house in high school, like I wouldn't say like Halo defined my life in any way, but definitely in high school when me and Geno were in high school, and we had like 8 TVs in our house at one time, and that's where people used to come over and landline and hook up and play Halo. So I'm hoping that you're right with the multiplayer aspect, but as far as the campaign goes, I've beaten it a few times. How many times do you think you've ran through it? Over 2 or 3, right?
At least 3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, and it says that there are going to be a lot of quality of life things. So this is going to be an interesting foray into anyone that's on the PlayStation side that's never played Halo, never had access to Halo, now going, wow, this is going to be the bigger, better version, the full version that's now, I guess, because kind of what they're doing is canonizing it with other games. Like, one of the theories I was hearing is like the reason they're adding more guns and things is like, because in the story, right, because those guns weren't invented when Halo 1 was made, but theoretically, those guns should have been accessible during that time. So this is kind of more the official Halo 1 and how the timeline should have went. Agree?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think too, like one of the big things that's been like addressed is because there's even a cutscene, or maybe not a cutscene, a part of the game in the original one where like you kill a elite who has an energy sword, but you can't use energy swords until 2. So nice. I know that's something that's added in there. There is playable builds out there, not for people like us, but I know there are
Joes.
I know there are people like Ryan McCaffrey at like IGN and others who do have like playable chunks of the first section of the game. So people are out there trying it out right now.
Nice. So I'm gonna kind of go over real quick what it's gonna be adding, and we kind of talk about as much or as little as we need to. But the biggest thing clearly is there's going to be new missions added that expand the story content. Which, so from what I can see here, let's see. The biggest difference between the campaign Evolved and Combat Evolved is the inclusion of 3 never-before-seen story missions into the game's story. 3 prequel levels will be added before the events of Combat Evolved, following Master Chief and his close ally Sergeant Avery Johnson. These introductory missions will likely highlight the connection between Master Chief and the UNSC Marine as they face new dangers. So, as cool as it sounds, I do think it's something that's going to be a tad tricky. I'm not saying it's not going to be pull-offable or it's going to be great, but you've got to make something that fits in the storyline that's from 2001, you know what I mean, that's a prequel to what we've played. So I'm sure that's going to be a tad tricky, but I think it's really cool and fortunate enough that all the key voice actors are not only so much still alive, but willing to do it, and I hope sound as good or maybe better than what they did 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think what I really like the idea of it too is because it's something I've always thought, but I don't read the books or I haven't really done too much like outside of, play the games, is to see what Chief is doing during the fall of Reach. Because when you start at the end of Halo Reach, that's what you're doing, is you're delivering Cortana to the Autumn, and then they take off, and it ends with Chief like waking up out of the thing. What was he doing during the whole time everywhere was being fought, or that planet's being invaded, just sleeping and hanging out the whole time?
Do you think 3 missions is enough though? I mean, does that sound like enough to fill the gap? Do you think it'll be back to back, or do you think it'll be maybe time loop, like time space?
It's 3 4-hour missions.
Oh, that would be fantastic. So that is the biggest thing people are hyped on is now the new Halo will have never before seen recreated missions.
I think what is interesting to see about this, and what I'm kind of more excited about, is how good these missions do is going to tell me a lot, I feel like, with, okay, can you fit this into the game, and is it good? You already have everything to work with. If it's good, then that would give me hope for the next Halo game to be good story-wise, because everybody arguably says 1, 2, 3 is the best. Some people take Reach in there. I personally love Reach, but everything after that people kind of leave on the table, where if this isn't good and you can't already work on an established loved story, then how could you have any faith that, okay, if you couldn't even do something where the 99% of the work is done for you, how can I trust you to create whatever the next thing is?
Well, especially when you're not the same team that made it originally. Right, you're creating something that predates it. It's like watching when Batman, when you play Arkham Origins, and there's already some banger Batman. It's like, okay, you got to make sure you capture the tone, and I think that's very easily mess upable.
I do want to know. I don't know if it was set in there, unless I'd missed it. I think, is it Virtuous Studios doing this?
As far as I can see, it says Halo Studios, developer, and publisher Xbox Game Studios. I don't see.
Okay,
I'm sure there's some extra side teams, but I don't see it, and I'm just looking on Wikipedia at the moment.
I thought Virtuous was doing something with it, because they've been doing stuff, like they just did Metal Gear, and then they also did the Oblivion remaster too.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, so we can probably dive into that. But moving on into the second thing that a lot of people are excited for, that's going to be in this one and not the old one, is also the addition of the weapons. So you're going to be able to use Halo Campaign Evolved is bringing back 9 different weapons from across other Halo games. The list of weapons includes many that were never usable in combat, Evolved, only appearing in Halo 2, 3, Reach, and other sequels. Some of the 9 weapons coming, so some of the big ones are going to be the Energy Sword, the Needle Rifle, the Battle Rifle, great gun, Fuel Rod Cannon, and the Sentinel Beam. So, again, like I said earlier, I love it. I love the fact that you're going to play this game with the cooler guns that were made for the sequels.
It makes sense. They existed at that time, so.
Yeah, so also you're going to be able to do new gameplay with the vehicles adjustments allowing for hijacking. So this is going to be for the larger room for multiple players and new options for travel. So yeah, since you are doing now co-op missions as far as 4 players, they've got to be able to redo some of the vehicles so that you can travel, because some of those missions you've got to be running around with the Warthog.
I think they made that a point during that thing. It was like, we've added an extra seat to the Warthog so that way one person's not just left behind.
Can you hear Asher at the door?
I just heard him.
Hear him groaning. Game modifying schools will also be increased. From what I was reading, that this is going to be the biggest expansion of skulls and all the customization that you can do. That's not something I really play with, but I know a lot of people love it. So, I mean, I can see now it brings back the community for time trials and things like that, and beating the games in certain runs. And now you've got a squad of people you can play with, and just 1 or 2 as you could before. So, excellent there. Not for me, but cool.
Yeah, I never do the lasso challenges, but I mean, it couldn't hurt to have more.
Couldn't hurt. Level environments have received larger changes. Now, I know this is kind of one of the bigger ones, and I was going to put it in the negatives later, but there was something I was reading that one of the original creators, Griesemer, was kind of upset about the fact that they're redoing some of the levels. And this is a quote from IGN. I'll put the link in the description if you want to read more of it. But one of the things he says is, and again, this is out of context, it just says, you were supposed to be able to take the Warthog, you aren't supposed to be able to take the Warthog up to steamroll the hunters, Griesemer says. I intentionally placed rocks in the way so you had to fight them on foot. When you can just smash the crates out of the way, it wrecks the encounters. But the worst part, they put trees in the landing area of the woohoo jump. Lame. And he goes on to say that he finds the level design for the original game was very specific in how the campaign was supposed to be played and engaged with and narrated through. And the fact that they're changing it now, it gives it new DNA, new blood. So I had it in negatives, but we'll jump in now since that's kind of one of the things they're pointing out. Do you think that's a big deal? Does that mess with any type of history, or it's a new game?
I think anyone who's played Halo or wanted to play Halo maybe has. I can understand the sentiment, especially if you don't know anything about Halo, but how many people don't know anything about Halo or the Hunters? I remember the first time playing it, that was like a huge thing, but going back now, that personally wouldn't bug me. Plus, you have to change certain ones, because there's certain levels on there. I think like the library is like...
The library is notorious.
Notoriously bad. People hate it, and it's so easy to get lost. Everywhere looks the same. And the first time you play it, it's good. But going back now, no, like it sucks.
It sucks. So, how about from a creator point of view? If it's your game, do you think it's... I mean, they have access to it. Do you think it's fair that they're doing it? Or do you think he has the right to be have his feathers ruffled?
I think he has the right to be upset, but at the same time, too, you have to... someone else is doing it now, so you kind of have to respect their vision, and that comes with the pros and the cons.
Nice. So, one of the other things is movement abilities, modify Master Chief's combat from the same gameplay, showing off the silent... cartographer. We can see that the campaign evolved, allows Master Chief to sprint at all times. That's so weird that it's weird to think that wasn't a mechanic back then, but this mechanic has always been controversial in Halo games since Halo 4 when it was first introduced as a core ability. In Combat Evolved, players were unable to sprint, moving at a fixed pace throughout each mission. So it's weird to think that little thing does change the game.
It doesn't bug me for campaign. The only time sprints ever bugged me is for multiplayer.
Right.
And I've kind of just grown to get used to it. But, I mean, adding it to the campaign personally does... I don't think it wrecks anything for me.
Right on. So I don't think it does any of that for me. And then going on, I won't get into more of them. It's enhanced audio, redone cinematics. Obviously, they've got voice talent over. So, and then cross-play allowing 4 players to create campaign fire teams. The game, it looks great. It's just one of those things. Is this disrespectful to Xbox players? A lot of players are looking at it going, where's my community anymore? If everything's going to PlayStation day and day and they're making it look like everything moving forward Halo was going on PlayStation, do we as Xbox fans from day one, because I know I was there day one, I know you were there day one, do you feel robbed at all? At the end of the day, we're both agnostic players. I think more than Andrew. Andrew has a Switch, but I don't know how much you're playing it. I have PlayStation and Switch, and between just those two, I've beaten probably 10 games this year. For me, I like kind of seeing it everywhere. I don't know where I'm landing, though, on the disrespect. I see it. I get it. I don't know if I feel it, but I certainly understand it. And we'll get into a little bit more with our next topic, but as far as Halo goes, and this was the last army, this is the last general that we had in our army.
I can totally understand that. Like, if someone's upset, like, this was, like, your identity as far as, like, Xbox goes. Like, this was your mascot the way Sonic was for Sega, and then seeing Sonic on Nintendo, I'm sure it's almost like a similar thing.
Yeah, so...
And so, I can understand, because at this point, like, what is your identity then is Xbox? And it's something we've been talking about for a while. Like, you're just games everywhere, and that's it? Like, that's all you have? Because I hate the idea, and you'll never convince me to, like, they keep saying it, like, oh, exclusives don't make sense. And it's like, okay, but why are you the only one not doing it then?
Yeah.
Because PlayStation's thriving with exclusives, Nintendo's thriving with exclusives, you're the only one who's not.
Yeah, so a lot to pack in there, guys. I'm going to just jump to our next story because it is running a little bit long, but yeah, Halo is going to be now on PlayStation as well as Windows and Xbox come next year. Leave down your thoughts below. Our next story, guys, is that the next Xbox essentially is going to be a hybrid PC. Your entire Xbox console library, the full power of Windows PC gaming, and no multiplayer paywall. So this link is in the description on our YouTube. It's a lot to take in. I was going through it, so I kind of pinpointed onto a paragraph that I think kind of sums up most of it, but to put a little bit of it in context, there are things like the handheld with the Asus that is something that's integrating Xbox in it. It's not essentially, it doesn't play native Xbox games. It's a Game Pass machine, kind of like a Steam Deck that's supported with Game Pass. The Xbox Ally and the Ally X are going to be the actual handhelds that are coming out. Right now, I believe they're in beta testing, and those are going to be things with full operating systems that let you move in and out from Windows and things like that. But what we're more interested in is what's going to happen with their next console. So this comes to us from Windows Central, and it says, where the Xbox console will differ from traditional Windows PC is that it will feel like a traditional Xbox console out of the box. The onboarding experience will be similar to what you get what you get today on console, and if you choose, you can remain fully inside the Xbox ecosystem, never touching Windows itself. Exiting out of Windows will be for those who want to access games traditionally not available on Xbox, including PlayStation games on Steam, mouse and keyboard first games like League of Legends, or even classic games from GOG and the like. You will be able to run PlayStation's PC titles like God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, and Spider-Man on the next Xbox, purchased via Steam or Epic Games. You will be able to play... I can hear him moaning. You'll be able to play World of Warcraft on the next Xbox via Battle.net. You will also be able to install practically any game that runs on Windows, giving you access to decades upon decades of content, all on a single device. Now, this sounds awesome. It's the thing we all wanted when we were kids, something that plays everything. But what's odd is that, and my best Danny Ackerman, is that you're selling the razor and you're not selling the blades.
Yeah.
Because this is something that it's giving you access to all these different games, but... And again, if the main concept is that they want Xbox in everyone's hand and they want Game Pass to be everywhere, then yes, this seems like the way to do it. If this thing can play everything, then why not get it? And especially if it's more console friendly, which a lot of people who play games like this are. But if you're not, who's gonna buy when you're buying Ghost of Tsushima or any game? If you're buying an Xbox game off of Steam, Xbox isn't getting a cut from that. You know what I mean? So they're kind of circumventing themselves out of it. So I just don't see the plan here where, again, they're selling the razor, the Xbox, the Nextbox we'll call it, but you're not going to be selling the games because the cheaper games notoriously are PC when you get these big summer sales or fall sales from Epic or Steam. And then if you're buying PlayStation games, it's just going to be hard to know if Game Pass is going to be the thing. If you want the Call of Duty Day 1, if you want all these things and it's Game Pass and it's going to be, okay, $30, but you're not making any extra off of me. I'm just curious because people that play PlayStation for first-party games are still going to have the PlayStation, and Nintendo's still going to sell their Mario games. So it's odd that Xbox is continually trying to transform and change itself into something that I don't think it really ever needed to be. Because with our last story with losing Halo to PlayStation, it's like, well, you lost what defined you as a console. Making you a PC, what more favors does it do for you? Do you see it any differently, or how do you see it?
It's important too that this is all like coming from different places. Like this is not like official statement.
This dropped a couple days ago.
Yeah, it's not like official. Like Microsoft came out and said this is what our next console is going to be doing or anything.
Best like that. Theories and rumors at the moment.
But it's the writing's on the wall. This is like everywhere, so it has to be something like this. But yeah, no, I totally agree. Like I just don't understand. Like okay, you already feel like you're not making enough money. So how are you going to make money?
I don't get it
because it can't just all be only for Game Pass because for why? If people aren't getting it now, why are they going to get it then? Why are people going to buy? Because something like this, there's no way it's going to cost like $500-$600. This is sounding like a $1,200, like a premium price console that I just don't understand. Especially if there's way to, why buy this when I can just go buy it on Steam, or people who do like CD keys and get those like cheap rips. I don't personally do that, so I don't know how that works, but. If you could just buy it for $10, $15, $20 less, you're just getting zero of the profit now. And it just doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't help that on top of this sounding premium and expensive, but no way to make money, there was just a report coming out that Microsoft has been jumping down on Xbox that they need to be making 30% more of their profits than what is considered the standard. So it's like, okay, well, how are you supposed to do that now with this? So a lot of it just doesn't make any sense financially that I just don't understand how as a brand this is going to strengthen you.
Yeah, especially because if you need to be making 30% more, but then by definition you need to be having more Game Pass in people's hands. But by doing it, selling something that's because the rumors and speculation is that the PS6 is going to be a lot more affordable, and this is going to be probably closer to $1,000. So it's like if people aren't going to be able to afford it day one, how many more hands are you going to be able to get it into? So it's a weird trajectory that Xbox is doing. I don't see it, but for the consumer side, if it's something you can get. For me to play it, it sounds awesome. I want something that has an operating system. I want to be able to, there's so many times I want to play PC games and stuff like that. So it sounds cool for the player. I don't know what it's doing for Xbox as a company, especially when you're already I don't want to say struggling. Microsoft can bail them out of any situation ever. But as far as the brand loyalty and the brand recognition, Xbox seems like a company that doesn't know where it's going, doesn't know where it's going to be.
And doesn't know how they got there.
Doesn't know how they got there. So, I don't know, man. Xbox is spiraling, and it seems like they're just throwing darts at a wall and seeing kind of what sticks. We've had the price hikes and all these things that aren't doing any fan favors. The machine sounds hypothetically cool. It's just there's I feel like there's something hidden there.
It's just such a weird concept, and yeah, why buy it? Especially if all the Xbox stuff is going to be on PlayStation going forward. Because all PlayStation has to do is turn around and be like, okay, well, you can play our exclusives through the weird Steam workaround or whatever it is that it's going to be a year from now when it drops. 5 years from now when it drops, like Death Stranding just dropped on Xbox. 5 years later, we don't have Death Stranding 2 right now. Yeah. So sure, you can play them eventually. Then what do you do for those must-have games when those launch? Because right now they're doing day and date.
Pirate them.
When they could have launched an Xbox and been like, okay, Elder Scrolls will be... Halo, Elder Scrolls, whatever else, will be on PlayStation a year from now.
Yeah.
That's how you sell a console. Okay, I can't wait. I have to be a part of the hype. I have to be a part of the zeitgeist. I'm going to go and get it now. And this is on top of the other crazy statements they're having that leaves me zero faith because Matt Booty just came out and Satya Nadella backed him up where they're like, PlayStation and Switch aren't our biggest competitors. TikTok is our biggest competitor.
Yeah, movies.
And it's like, how is that your competitor? Because I could doom scroll for hours, on my phone. But what makes you think that you're creating anything, even so on PC, that I'm going to want to go and sit there and play on an Xbox for 20 hours a day, like the same way you do on a phone? It just doesn't make sense. A phone can go with me anywhere. This isn't. And if you're trying to make that the experience of Be Anywhere, what makes you think I'm going to be playing a game in the middle of the store while I'm grocery shopping where while I'm waiting for the cash register, I can't just pump out a quick Halo level, but I can scroll on Instagram for 2 minutes?
Yeah, well, I mean, but now that it has an operating system, you can download the app and you can literally do it on the handheld or from the...
Makes it even worse because I deal with Windows all day, that even right now there's a big issue with a Windows update that fucked everything up, that I'm like, okay, now if you're pushing that out to Xbox, that's even worse, and I want it even less.
Right. So, sure. So, we'll leave it at that, because right now it is kind of rumors and hypotheticals. So, leave down your thoughts below on what you think of the console. So, now that we're hitting the end, guys, we'll quickly do our... What are you up to? When Andrew and I take a second, talk about what we've been watching, what we've been playing. Andrew, start with you and end it on Gaiden, and then since I finished it, I'll finish it from there.
As far as watching anything, because I've been busy with the baby, I kind of just watch more YouTube than anything. And even though he doesn't need any help from us because he's huge, Summon Salt just dropped a new Cuphead episode. And for those of you unfamiliar, Summon Salt, does a... it's almost like a speedrun documentary. It's like a history of speedrunning, but it's very in-depth, and it's really good that even if you aren't into speedrunning, it is super fun to watch. It's very informational. You said you just watched it.
Dude, I showed it to Sam, because we were falling to bed. I'm like, do you want to watch a video game documentary with me? She's like, yeah, okay. And we're watching it, dude. At the end, we're rooting for the players. Like, I forget some of their names. But we were like, oh, he just beat sub 30. So it's fantastic. It's about an hour and 12 minutes long. It's got information, because Andrew and Geno always watch Summoning Salt. I'm usually a tad behind on him, but I'm like, let's watch some Cuphead. Dude, it was fantastic.
Watch the Halo one next. But Christina watches them too, and she doesn't even like game as much anymore. Even she loves watching them. As far as playing anything, I did finish Final Fantasy Tactics. I really liked it, but I don't know if I would like put it in my top 5 or anything. I liked it more than 16 story-wise, though.
Hey.
But the gameplay was really cool. I think maybe it's a little harder for me to love because I like loving each character individually, even if you swap around their jobs or whatever. Whereas, like, you have your one character that really matters, and the others almost kind of don't, because if they die and get left behind, then you just replace them with somebody else.
So, I don't know if it's going to turn you off of Tactics, but do you think maybe it's just like did you ever play Mario Rabbids on Switch?
No.
That's a small team that's tactic grid style. I think something like that, because Tactics, I love that style. But yeah, that you started with a game that has a cast of characters. Something I think with a little smaller net might be something that's more attractive. Like, you're leveling up Mario, you're leveling up Luigi.
I might want to try another one, but I feel like I was kind of over it by the end
That's
a little
big
bit.
One, you said it with the big boy.
Because sometimes, too, I'm like, okay, like, I'm just trying to play and not really trying to think. But now it's like, okay, I either try to brute force my way through this, or sometimes you just end up in a situation where I'm like, okay, like even though I've leveled and done whatever, like I'm getting my ass kicked because it's just random turns. And not to mention, part of the worst part of this game is no matter what you do with some of your or like your healing, reviving, whatever, your shit is going to miss 90% of the time, which doesn't make any sense. And it's just so annoying that I have to develop other tactics. And I pretty much just ended up making
tactics.
I just ended up making my dude a tank. And if anyone died, I'm trying to beat the level before I have to revive them. And they're gone forever instead of even trying to revive them. Or I'll just restart.
Nice. And you finished it with what? Ninja Gaiden?
Oh, yeah. And then I've been playing Ninja Gaiden 4. I'm really enjoying it. I'm about halfway through it. So you can speak a little bit more to it. I'm having a really good time.
Yeah, so as far as what I've been up to, I'll start with playing Ninja Gaiden. I did just beat it last night. Did I send it to you last night? The day before?
Yeah, last night.
It's a great game, especially if you just came out. What was the last one called? Was it Black?
That was 2 Black, yeah.
2 Black. I really like 2 Black, and playing this one, it has a new character. I already forget his name.
Yakumo.
So that was kind of the interesting factor of seeing that. I don't pretend to be a big Ninja Gaiden fan, or I really played it for the experience. I played it on the easier mode. I wasn't trying to pretend that I'm going to get all these cool combos. I will say this. It starts off with one of the coolest train scenes. Like, all the weapons and abilities you're able to get, this game slices and dices through everybody. It's a really gory game. The bosses are all really cool. My only negative is that level to level seems to get a tad repetitive.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of difference in a lot of the enemies. A couple here and there, you'll get some bigger enemies that take longer to hit. But it seems it's just
meat for the grinder.
Monster pool. But I did beat it, and you can beat it like in under 15 hours if you're not playing it on a super hard mode. So I did have fun with it. It's on the Game Pass, so it was definitely worth checking out. As far as what else I played, I just beat this game on PlayStation. It's called Sword of the Sea. It's a 2025 adventure video game developed and published by Giant Squid. In it, the player assumes control of a character named Wraith, who rides on a hover sword to restore life to a barren wasteland. The game released on PlayStation 5 on August 19th. I think it is on Xbox as well, but it is... Well,
I think so too.
Maybe it is now, yeah. But it's on PS Plus, so I had it for free. You can beat it in less than like 3 hours. It's a really cool skateboarding type game. You're hovering on this sword. It's a lot of cool little puzzles where you run around and really you're just trying to unlock water to get to these barren wastelands, and then you kind of travel through these different biomes. At the end, there does kind of become this storyline where you meet another player that's kind of helping you out, and then there is kind of a boss battle at the end that's kind of separates itself from the rest of what the game is. After going back and looking at the achievements, I didn't realize how much more I missed, because you can kind of just beeline it, which I did. There's no explanation in the game. It kind of just tosses you in it, and you just kind of start scooting around. It's very soothing, I'll say that. The music was great, or if you want to put on a podcast, you can. It's fine. If it comes to Xbox on the Game Pass, I would definitely play it again. It's a lot of fun. If you do have PS Plus, I would say check it out, especially while it's there. Now, quickly, as far as what I've been watching, I just watched the movie Good Boy, which...
Is this the dog horror movie?
Yeah, it's a dog horror movie. So it's a horror movie told specifically from a dog's point of view. It came out on October 3rd, 2025. Now, I missed it in theaters, but I have Fandango, and Fandango sends you a $10 credit every month.
Fandango's sick.
So it's awesome. So it sends you movie tickets that you can do it for a cinema, or it sends you to Fandango Home. So, and you just put them in and you can start collecting credit, which I've done. So me and Sam missed the movie, and I really wanted to see it, and we ended up renting it on Fandango at home. For like $9. I got like $80 of credit. And it's really good. It's got 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, 82% on Fandango. I'm glad I didn't watch it in theaters, and I'm glad I spent free money on it. It's more, wait till this movie's on streaming, but the story is a man moves into a new home that has supernatural forces lurking in the shadows. As dark entities start to threaten him, his brave dog comes to his rescue. Now, what's interesting is you never see any human's face, which is kind of cool. Like, everyone's always kind of blocked. The main guy, you do kind of get a sense of him because you do see him most of the time. The dog kind of, he has his own little trippy story, and he starts seeing, I won't give it away if you want to watch it, but he starts seeing a couple things. But what's interesting to me, because I'm like, you're seeing all this stuff happen and what's going on with this guy, you're like, man, what is that? But you gotta remember, it's from the dog's point of view. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. So what's also interesting is all the evil type shit that you're seeing, the supernatural stuff you're seeing, it also seems like there's a cool story in there somewhere that you just don't know about. You don't know what these guys are doing, but this dog kind of goes through it. So if you get a chance to check it out, I would say give it a go. So, guys, with that being said, that brings us an end to episode 222. Leave down in the comments and questions, guys. Leave us anything you guys want to talk about, anything we've discussed. So join us next time, guys, on episode 223. And until next time, my name is Craig Perales. That is Mandrew Montemare. Cheers.
Happy early Halloween.